All right, gang. So today is not going to be a going out to find board day. It is going to be a workroom day. So I have plenty of orders to do that. I made a list yesterday and I was like, Christina, what are you doing? In my head, I'm always like, you don't have enough orders. But in reality, I had a long list of orders that I still need to finish. To my defense, there were a lot still pending, a lot of things that were still materials that were on their way to me, so I couldn't finish them. But again, this is like a phenomenon in the pin world. If you guys can remember the whole phenomenon of pre-sales, where you get no positive, well, that's not the right phrase. You don't get instant gratification. That's what it is. It is, okay, my dog is whining. You'll have to see him. Oh, Boots. There he is. He came to say hello. Well, that's the phenomenon where in pre-sales where you don't get the instant gratification of getting your pin, at least in a couple days. You might have to wait a month. You might have to wait 6 months. And not to mention any names, but you might have to wait more than a year. Or you might never get them at all, which hopefully will not happen anymore. But as we all know in the pin world, we cannot guarantee that. But anyway, so I sort of slipped into that pin phenomenon. And so I kept getting more orders and saying yes, saying yes, saying yes. And then suddenly I got a bunch of materials and then I realized I had a lot of pending orders. So even though I could not get the frame that I was intending to get today, that is quite all right because actually I canceled it because I don't really need it, and I didn't have exact change for her, so, and it's raining, so multiple reasons not to go, and I don't really need the frame, so I just canceled the whole thing. Anyway, so it is a good day to be a workroom day. I am showing you a piece of my cork foam. See, this is why I know a lot of people want me to make round shapes. But this stuff, while awesome, like I talked in my last video, it does have a grain, oddly enough. So in one way that you cut, if you can see this cut, it's a lot straighter and neater. This way is sort of the grain, cutting with the grain. This is against the grain. And then it becomes very clumpy and annoying, and I usually have to sand it down a little bit to make it a little more even, or take out little clumps like this, and they're really hard. So doing a circle shape with this material is not going to work. So I have not given up because I don't shy away from a challenge. I like challenges for good or for bad. So I have just ordered Eva foam, which I talked about in my last video. Let me show you an example of that. So this is Eva foam. It's some leftover stuff that I have. This one is 10 millimeters thick. You can get it from Joann's. It's much more expensive. So for those people who are wondering why my round frames are more expensive, this is why. This stuff is awesome. This is for cosplay costumes. It's flexible, but it's firm. It's nice and thick. So if you put a pin through this, it'll be fine. But you know, you have to be. I feel like this is sort of the grade up, so you got to be like dedicated to doing this because these sheets are massive. They're heavy. At least this material is pretty light. It's very light because of the foam, but this is very dense. And you know, you kind of have to be prepared to do it. And since this is so thick, I'm a little worried about how it's going to cut, but I'll give it a shot. I ordered 2 of these really big sheets yesterday. They're bigger than the cork foam, which comes in 20 by 30. This is by 24 by 40. These you can find from Michael's. They're the Elmer's brand. They're like $7 or something, but just to let you know, I had to buy 10 of those in the last 5 days. So they go really fast. So I use a ton of this for your boards. So even though each individual 20 by 30 is cheap, the cutting and everything else and just the volume of material that I have to use and go pick up and all of that good stuff is extremely high. And I've pretty much bought out every local store in the area. So it's a good thing I'm slowing down because I need to figure out where I'm going to get them next. Because in St. Louis, as I probably told some of you, the shipping has been atrocious. I've had packages that have sat in the St. Louis distribution area for 2 weeks without even showing that the packages had been scanned in the first place. So, yeah, that was not okay because I had 3 boards sitting there for 2 weeks and my customers were like, have you shipped the boards? It just says pre-shipment. And I said, I swear I've done that. And 2 weeks later, bing, they finally scan them in. So the good thing is they haven't lost any of my packages. Like even through the whole Christmas season, this has been happening. This is not the first time. It's just like I've realized it's been continued because they're still catching up. They will eventually find things and get them to you. That said, even with priority packages, do not expect them in 2 to 3 days. It might take up to 2 weeks, but the thing is, I've noticed people that if you have insurance on something or it's March priority, the likelihood that it will be lost forever is much lower because the risk is much higher for USPS. So this is why I always put insurance at least on my trades out to you guys for pins, and I always use priority for the most part for boards. Some of the smaller boards I've used first class, but generally I try, if I remember, to put insurance on those as well. So I am going to make this 5x7. This is a gorgeous frame that I picked up last week. Gold. It has a velvet backing. So I've had to take out the back. So you guys might notice when you get my boards, especially for wall hanging, they may not really, you may just see the back of this material with some velvet folded over it and glued on. That's because those came to me as open frames. But if they have backs and I can put them on and they are actually helpful to you, I try to put them back on. I've saved actually some extras from ones that I did not or could not use on those frames to have extra. So I try to add on backs as much as possible. But for wall frames, hopefully most of us don't care. I certainly don't. The backs of my frames have pretty much nothing on it, which is fine because honestly it's lighter. So basically, I don't think this cork is quite the right size. I'll probably have to cut it down to size a little bit more. Yep, totally not the right size. Actually, this may not be the right. I have a lot of leftover board from other cuttings. And as you can see, there's a lot of these little ditzels around, which is really annoying when you're trying to glue stuff because you have to make sure that these don't end up in the glue because they'll stick and make, whatever you're gluing really uneven. So, but I kind of think I'm going to die from inhaling foam pieces at some point if I continue this forever. You also want to cut over a thick surface. So this is a big, thick Joann's board that I've been using, cardboard that I've been using for ages. As you can see, there's like lots and lots of cut marks, and you want to use a really heavy duty blade. I use a Stanley, which was also recommended by Jacoust and Amy. I don't love this actually, but I don't really love any blades, to be honest. It's nice in that it retracts, obviously, because it's sharp, so most of them do that. But nothing really cuts this Coke form very well, to the point that I like it, but I feel like you would probably have to need a hacksaw for it to do that. Okay, well, I will continue this in the next video, but I gotta take my kid to school, so I will see you soon.